That's a spiritual clue that she ain't one of us. But anyway, whatever you cut it, whether it be Trump or Kamala, this is the best time to get into this truth because we going over those next 4 years or whoever's president, the missile might start flying. Putin might be like, "Oh, it's a black woman president. Send the missile. They're gonna test her. If it's her, they're gonna be they're gonna look at that as weakness. Like, damn, you put this black woman, so-called what they appear to be a black woman in charge of the country. We're gonna launch the missiles on your ass." And Trump is thinking of, you don't know what tricks he got up his sleeve. So either way you cut it, we doomed. And America's doomed. But this is the best time to get under this knowledge and come up under this truth. And I'll land my plane right there.
The scripture saying in Hebrews 10, so much the more as you see that they're approaching. So we see that they're approaching, man. There's so much going on by way of prophecy and everything. You can't get around it, right? It never fails, right? You know what I'm saying? So Israel, that's just a quick update. Continue to support this truth. And Nala brought out a golden tool. Get this work, man. Come into this work, get into it. Like I said, we got the HOR recruiters program. Some of the other brothers in the other camps, they use prospect, but I wanted to do a little something different. Shout out to the brothers. You can prospect with their camps, but you can recruit with HOI. And you can be a female sister recruiter through Sisters of the Kingdom, through our women's class and program. All right, so stay strong, Israel. Support again. Email House of Israel, nyc@gmail.com for any inquiries. Support at GoFundMe.com, House of Israel, School and Traveling Fund, or Building Fund. I forgot how it was, Travel and Building Fund. However, you'll see it. You'll see my big face up there. And continue to watch and get this word. Keep these commandments. Humble yourself under Yahweh Shai and come into the truth. All right, so with that, definite instruction to Esau and the other nations. Power, peace, safety, and the kingdom of heaven to the 12 tribes of Israel forever and ever. Amen. It's been a great year, summer 2024. Not Esau Kingdom great, but doing the work great. Kwame Ashala, we still got next. Hallelujah. HOI to them chariots fly. Free Sabak. Only scream it if you mean it. Kwame Ashala. Whoa.
All right. All praises, honor, glory, respect, and homage to Yahweh Ba'ashem Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh be the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai be the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, Israel. Salute, double honors to the elders. You know what I mean? Putting in this work on these streets, watching these prophecies unfold. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Beautiful time to be an Israelite, like Nala was saying. Regardless of who gets in as the president, seems inevitable that this thing's going to keep on going the way it's going. Trump's not going to be able to stop what's going on in Ukraine. He's certainly not going to want to stop what's going on in Iran and in Israel. He can't because he has no type of pull in Iran. Okay, since of course he bombed Soleimani. And same thing with Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? It seems like she's the same old, go along to get along, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it type of candidate, you know what I mean? Puppet candidate. And it seems like that's the move. Okay. So either way, it's looking good for Israel. All right. But let's start. Thank you. Let's get into it. Anybody available to read? I know Wednesdays can be a busy day. If you can read, let me know. If not, I'll start off and we'll get into it. Let's start with Jeremiah 25, verse 33. This is Wednesday wake-up call. Wells Fargo. Weekend at Wells Fargo. Apparently, if you work at Wells Fargo, nobody even realizes that you could be dead for 4 days. It's kind of mind-boggling. You know how you go to work and you say, good morning, and then, how was lunch? You know what I mean? Just small talk or whatever like that. And, at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Simple things that, you have to have a full-on conversation with your coworkers, but damn it, can't you just speak to them? Well, not at Wells Fargo. Not only are they a cold-hearted, too big to fail bank that does whatever they want, will take out uh, another account in your name, give you a whole bunch of service charges and overdraft fees, so forth and so on. And of course, they get away with it. They get caught, and then what happens? They say, okay, we'll just raise up our overdraft fees. It's $30 now. It's $35 just so we can pay off all of our bad dealings that we have to pay for. With the courts and all. Now, they're pretty much the bank of, well, you'll just cold-hearted with the people that put money in the bank, but cold-hearted with their employees that they can die and not get buried for 4 days. All right, let's go. Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 33.
Con, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25 and verse 33. When everybody have it, please stay calm.
Con.
Con, Salaki, everyone.
All good.
Con, verse 33. And the slain of the Lord shall be at the day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dug upon the ground.
So people are not going to be buried, okay? And this is a prequel to that, of someone that went to work and died at work and was dead at work for 4 days. Nobody buried them. Nobody helped him out. It was Esau, by the way. She saw didn't make it. Died at work in Wells Fargo. Weekend at Wells Fargo. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 4. Now, this is talking about Israel, but of course, these the negative curses and things that happen to us is going to be happening to the heathens and the other nations. So why not read this as well? Okay, but until then, right, let's watch this video. So we'll hold off on Jeremiah 16 verse 4. And we're going to get into Slovakia. We're going to get into the video discussing what happened at Wells Fargo. Just give me 1 second while I line this up. All right, here we go.
A Tempe Wells Fargo employee died at her desk. And 12 News is now confirming that it may have taken as many as 4 days for anyone in the office to notice. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. It's a story we first reported yesterday. Tonight, Tempe police are confirming the timeline of when the woman clocked in to when her colleagues found the body. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is in the studio with new details tonight. Gabby, 4 days. I mean, this poor woman went 4 days undiscovered. It's hard to believe.
And that's a question many employees are asking themselves tonight. I spoke with an employee who said that she shared her perspective on the workplace environment, and they say it's a big building, but most people don't work there on a daily basis. A Wells Fargo employee went to work the morning of Friday, August 16th and never went home. Tempe police tell 12 News 60-year-old Denise Prudhomme scanned into work at 7 o'clock in the morning. 4 days later, police responded to the office building near Washington Street and Priest Drive for reports of a subject down. Prudhomme was declared dead. The Tempe Police Criminal Investigation Bureau is investigating, but do not suspect foul play. A Wells Fargo employee exclusively spoke with 12 News, but asked not to be recorded or identified out of fear for their job. They say a colleague found Prudhomme dead at her desk in a cubicle while walking around the building on Tuesday, August 20th. Prudhomme's cubicle was reportedly on the 3rd floor and away from the main aisle. This employee says several people had smelled a foul odor, but passed it off as faulty plumbing. They say while most Wells Fargo employees at this Tempe location work remote, the building has 24/7 security, and someone should have found Prudhomme sooner. The incident left several employees feeling scared and uneasy. This employee wants to see new safety protocols in place, telling me, quote, "It's negligence in some part." A different worker also spoke with 12 News anonymously.
Was just uncomfortable.
Again, calling on the company to do more.
Body was there about 4 days before anybody found it, before anybody walked up to her and just to say hi, make sure she's okay. She was just laying on her desk.
A Wells Fargo spokesperson previously sent 12 News a statement saying, in part, "We are deeply saddened by the tragic loss of our colleague at our Tempe office," adding counselors through our employee assistance consulting service are available to support employees. An employee tells me their direct management offered those services, addressed the incident, and told workers the building was thoroughly cleaned. And a Wells Fargo spokesperson did not have new information to share with me tonight. The Maricopa County Medical Examiner is investigating the cause of death. In studio, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
All right, Gabby, thank you. Police say a robber held.
Okay, so got to come to a level of understanding that, my goodness, where have I'll say just we, you know what I mean, society as a whole, actually sunk down to the bottom where you don't even say good morning to your coworkers. But I mean, that happens at plenty of jobs. You know what I mean? It's not how it should be, but right now it is what it is, you know, and couldn't have happened to a better person, happened to Esau. So, you know what I mean? That's how that goes down. Let's bring that out. Jeremiah 16 verse 4.
Con, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 4. When everybody has it, please say Con.
Con.
Con, verse 4. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented. Neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dug upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by the famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth.
So we're looking at a prequel to what it's going to be like here, you know, on the earth and in Babylon. There's going to be people that are not going to be buried. They're going to be meat for the vultures and the crows and any other bird that wants to pluck at a dead body. And people are going to be so worried about their selves and their family and their situation. It's not going to be time to bury people. So the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. It's not going to be a nice big hug and, you know, handshakes and all this other stuff. It's going to be fairly dark and violent. Okay. Now, in Esau's neck of the woods, they can walk by each other and not speak and everything like that. And that's a result. Person died 4 days later, getting buried, or, you know, finding out that they actually died. You'll think, you know, maybe family or friends, you know what I mean, didn't talk to you in a while, whatever, but we can be very the world with the technology and everything, we can easily be very separated, and even though it's the closest we've been, we could have a conversation with somebody in Japan, still very far, far away. Okay. Now, Jake, what's Jake doing? Jake is in the middle of a robbing spree at a church. You know what I'm saying? Even though, of course, we understand, Slovakia, church isn't where the Most High is. He's not in a temple made by hands, right? But just the mentality of somebody that would go to a church to rob, you know what I mean? The people coming outside the church lets you know that, like we said, we already understand that Most High's not in that place, but just to do it, period, you got to have a very low moral compass. Okay. So with that, let's get St. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. So this guy says, I am going to rob somebody or rob a few people. I think I'm going to go to a church. So that heart is pretty cold. Okay. It's like, yeah. You can bring that out. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12.
Khan, this is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 12. And it reads, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
So, some cold-hearted people walking these streets. You understand? In Philadelphia, popular stick-up spots would be gas stations, Chinese stores, poppy stores, catching somebody going to the store, coming back from the store, filling up their gas, where they're, not on their game, not paying attention, and people stick them up. But going to a church just to rob people is next level psychotic, you know what I'm saying? Pretty satanic, you know what I mean? And please, Israel, I understand. You're like, oh, those Christians, that's what they get. But the fact that somebody woke up in the morning and said, I'm going to rob people out of a church is gone with the wind, okay? All right, now let's go to Job chapter 1 and verse 10. And you can hold that while we get to the actual story of what took place one fateful day in a church parking lot. And it's Jake. Jake is wilding out.
Police say a robber held up a woman at gunpoint as she left church. Take a look at this clear video of the suspect. Police want you to know if you can identify him. You can see the man outside the Holy Cross Church.
Salakia.
Mount Airy Avenue.
Turn it up a little bit.
Say he robbed the woman last Friday just before noon.
It's at the highest it goes. You gotta turn your phone up.
The suspect. Police want you to know if you can identify him. You can see the man outside the Holy Cross Church on the 100 block of East Mount Airy Avenue. Investigators say he robbed the woman last Friday just before noon. But they also believe that he burglarized the church right before that. And they say he broke into a number of vehicles that were parked in the area. And that's how they got these crystal clear images of what he was wearing and his face from a dash cam inside of one of the cars that he broke into. That hat said, quote, all hustle, no luck. If you can help this luck run out, give police a call.
So all hustle, no luck. So his hustle is robbing people, burglarizing the church, and then sticking up a woman at gunpoint that's coming out of the church. This is not just a strong arm robbery. This is an armed robbery. And he has the beads of the rosary or whatever around his neck. Psychotic. Okay. So one thing we have to do, right? One thing we should be doing, right, is building ourselves up, following these law, statutes, commandments. Why? So we can have a hedge around us in these time periods, because we don't want to run into somebody like that. You know what I mean? This guy is once you rob somebody coming out of a church, you'll pretty much rob anybody. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring that out though. Job chapter 1 and verse 10.
Con, this is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 10. When everybody have it, please say Con.
Con.
Con, verse 10. Has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that have on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
Con. So Satan was talking about Job. And the hedge, that hedge is important. That hedge keeps that person away from you. That hedge keeps you say you're coming out that church. I know nobody on here this Israelite is going to a Christian church, but you know what I'm saying? Just for example purposes, walking out of that church and he says, no, not them. And then see the other woman and says, all right, I can get to her. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High will put a hedge around you so you don't get touched like that. Okay. And that's something definitely to aim for in these last days. So you could be walking through the midst of chaos, thousands of people falling at your left hand and right side or your right hand, but nothing comes nigh under you. All right. That's the move. That's the plan. All right. So with that in mind, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse 7. Now, this place, have you heard of it? Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier is probably the most mysterious place, one of the most mysterious places on the planet. Why? Because it wasn't originally a lake. It was a community full of so-called black people. And what did Esau do? Esau flooded the community, and now it's underwater. Okay. And now, you know, Esau is still very proud and I could do whatever I want. Nobody can do anything to me until they go to Lake Lanier and they're just boating, minding their own business. And then they turn around and one of their friends drowns. And they're like, how did that happen? Another time somebody's swimming and they get electrocuted in the lake, you know? So obviously there's some type of electrical current in that lake. Well, that person found out the hard way. Lake Lanier is trending a lot. You know, every time you see it trending, you really know that somebody didn't make it. Okay. And on Labor Day of all times. So let's bring that out. Deuteronomy 26 and verse 7.
Con, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26 and verse 7. When everybody has it, please say Con.
Con.
Con, verse 7. And when we cried unto Yahweh thy power of our fathers, the Lord heard our voice and looked on our affliction and our labor and our oppression.
Con. All right, let's go to Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 8. So crying out to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? The Lord heard and looked for our affliction and our labor. We built this country up, and what happened? You got not even a simple thank you. You know what I'm saying? But no acknowledgement, nothing close to that, right? And our oppression. Okay. Let's bring that out. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 8.
God, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 8. And it reads, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things, in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually.
And so the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto the Most High, talking about just like Abel. Cain killed Abel. The Most High hears his cries from the grave, right? So you can imagine what he's listening to with Lake Lanier and Babylon as a whole. But Lake Lanier in particular is very devastating that they destroyed these brothers and sisters, you know, because they made a lake. You know, they didn't need a lake, but that's how Esau is. You know, he'll do eminent domain, take your house away, say, "Oh yeah, your house is right in the your prominent black neighborhood, so-called black neighborhood, is right in the middle of where we want to put a highway. So you guys gonna have to leave." In California, had oceanfront property. They're like, "Oh no, we're gonna eminent domain. We're gonna have to take that. That's the government. That's for the government now." They just won the case like probably about a year ago. So this is something that Esau does regularly. You know what I'm saying? Like, how come you black people don't have anything? You know what I mean? Well, Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, you know what I mean? Black Wall Street. We did have things, but you guys burned it to the ground, or do an eminent domain, or put a lake over top of the community. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High takes care of business, and Esau is going to continue to be proud. And oh, let's go on Lake Lanier. Nothing's going to happen to us. That's not exactly true.
Wishing him well, Bridget, thank you. Labor Day weekend taking a dark turn on Lake Lanier. A father of two drowned while swimming in Forsyth County. As Atlanta News First Blake Devine found out, his wife was the first to call 911.
46-year-old Hassani Weidman drowned on Lake Lanier Saturday afternoon. The Vinings local was swimming from shore to his boat before he disappeared under the water and never resurfaced. Tracy Baraney lives near Lake Lanier with her dog Kenzie. She says this type of tragedy happens all too often.
Somebody lost their life when they were just out here to have a good time and enjoy the last weekend of summer, so to speak. It's tragic.
The Georgia Department of Natural Resources said Weidman's wife and kids witnessed the entire incident. Calling for help near Bethel Park as a steady stream of first responders from Forsyth and Hull County arrived on the lake around 2 p.m. Using boat-mounted sonar and an underwater vehicle, game wardens discovered Weidman under 25 feet of water. Divers were able to recover his body, but it was already too late.
Anytime you're in this water, if you don't have a life jacket on, you're at risk.
This tragedy marked the third drowning death at Lake Lanier this year alone. Since 1994, over 200 people have died here, a sad statistic that the Forsyth County firefighters say could have been avoided.
Very tragic. It's sad. It's something that I personally have worked and been involved with way too many times in my career.
With this in mind, Division Chief Jason Shivers is preaching precaution out on the water.
Real life preserver. Always swim with a buddy. Don't ever be in the water alone. Swim with friends so that you have someone there to help you.
Reporting from Lake Lanier, Blake Devine, Atlanta News First.
Well, see, that doesn't really matter. Let's go to Psalm chapter 78. Verse 49, that doesn't necessarily matter. Like, be with a buddy, have a life preserver. A life preserver is not going to stop you from getting electrocuted, is it? No. Having a buddy, normally they are together, but then they split up. Why? And we talk about missing 411, David, what's his name? Can't think of the guy's name, but missing 411, it talks about how people are together in certain situations. It's more about the woods, not Lake Lanier, but they're, walking together, they're hunting together or whatever. And then come to find out, somebody says, "Oh, I got to go back to the cabin real quick. I forgot something. Oh, I left my cell phone. Oh, my stomach hurts. I got to use the bathroom. I'll be right out." And that's when, they split up. And then, of course, Most High takes over, okay? And let's see who he sends, okay? Because people like the ancestors got him. Now the ancestors' spirit goes to the Most High, right? But the Most High sends some down for vengeance, right? Who does he send for vengeance? Not the ancestors, Let's get that. Psalm chapter 78, verse 49.
Khan, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 78 and verse 49. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 49. He casts upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble, by sending evil angels among them.
Khan. So, people that are into we are Pan-Africans, you know what I mean? We are Egyptologists. They'll say, oh, the ancestors got them. No, evil angels. Most High says go down there and take care of that. And they do. And what do you say, 200 since 1990? You start breaking that down, that's a lot of drownings, you know what I'm saying? And 3 just this year. And you start actually breaking that down, the first couple, Esau's New Year, of course, it's freezing. Nobody should be out there in January and February and all that. But just these, summer months and the spring months, 3 people have drowned. Uh, and that's Lake Lanier. I wouldn't even drive past Lake Lanier at this point. You know what I mean? But as long as the Most High keeps on, judging these Edomites, you know what I mean? That family, of course, in that area, it's not like people did that evil down there in Georgia and just moved away to some other place, Norway or, Iceland or something like that. It's the same bum Edomites that are down there, just had children, and now their children like, oh, my grandfather killed everybody in this town. Let me go swim on that lake. And then what happens? Tell you. That's it. That's all she wrote. Okay. So let's go to Ezekiel 35 and verse 15. Okay. Yeah, they put a water park there, and there are thousands of black towns underwater. It's crazy. Or okay, either way, that's a lot. It's only 50 states, right? So one in every state, I'm assuming. Unbelievable. Yeah, they put a water park in there. That's gonna be a bloodbath. That'd be like they might as well call it Friday the 13th Lake Lanier. That's like Camp Crystal Lake. Jason Voorhees grabbing somebody's ankle, you know what I mean, at the bottom of the river, or the bottom of the lake. I'm good. No need. You won't catch me in Lake Lanier. Put it like that. You know what I'm saying? You want me to meet you somewhere? Don't let it be Lake Lanier. I will not show up. Okay. So now let's go to Ezekiel. 1 second. Ezekiel 35. 1 minute. Yes, Ezekiel 35 and 15, Baba Kashar.
Khan, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 15.
Khan.
And it reads, as thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee, thou shalt be desolate. O Mount Seir, and all Idumea, even all of it, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
Khan. So right now, what's going on in Colorado, Aurora, Colorado? There are Venezuelan gangs. So apparently, I was trying not to say they were from Venezuela. You know what I mean? It could be from anywhere. Um, you know, who knows they're from Venezuela, but I think to the reporting says the Homeland Security has identified some of these gentlemen as people that are from Venezuela, Venezuelan gang. And at first I heard this was Jake, you know what I mean? A lot of Jake was in this apartment. When they interviewed people, it was Esau. When they talked about it, they said there are Venezuelans that live there as well. But I'm one to think that these might be pretty much a bunch of Edomites that live in this place. You know, I'm not sure. Can't, you know, I'm not gonna stand on this or not, but it's off the strength of I believe it was the mayor that came in there and was looking around, or some type of politician. They'll talk about it in this. Some type of politician that got somebody out of there. Like they couldn't afford to move. So the mayor put up a couple of dollars or whatever to help them move. That's not happening to Jake. So you know what I'm saying? Our neighborhood's been terrorized for years. Nobody came in and said, we're gonna give you a couple of dollars to move. That's not how this thing works here in America. And there's even rumors going around that the Hells Angels is going over there to tear things up, you know? We're going to get to that. That's just a rumor. We're going to get to that. But not only is it's a rumor, but at the same time, somebody put that out there. So now, you know, we'll talk about the implications surrounding that. But let's see what happened in Venezuela. No, sorry, it's not Venezuela. This is America. America's being infiltrated. People are getting ran out of their apartments, of their house. This is crazy. Okay, so let's watch this video.
It is a situation in Aurora involving Venezuelan migrants that's been brewing for months. With every verifiable fact, there has been some misinformation and rumors. Well, tonight, we have new information on what we've learned is happening inside an apartment complex. This video has been making the rounds online since yesterday. Shows armed men walking through a building, knocking on doors, and entering an apartment. A former resident and at city council member tells us these men are part of a dangerous Venezuelan gang, and their numbers have been growing steadily because of the crisis at the border. The apartment complex is at 12th and Dallas and Aurora. That's east of the border with Denver, and just a mile or so from the popular Stanley Marketplace. Tori Mason is your reporter in Aurora. Tori joins us now. You talked with a woman who lived there, watched all this unfold, and she certainly said this was terrifying for her.
Yes, Karen, and even though she's moved, she's still terrified. It takes bravery to speak out on something like this, but she says it's worth it if it means action will be taken. There have been rumblings of new gang activity in Aurora all summer. Officials have skated around the topic, but now there's video and victims they can't deny.
It's really like being held hostage.
Cindy was a prisoner in her own home. She's lived in this building at 12th and Dallas for years. This summer, when crime got worse, Cindy got cameras. Doorbell video shows a group of armed men forcing their way into her neighbor's home. Another night, her camera outside captured two men approaching a vehicle, guns drawn. She's called 911 so often, they know her by name.
He said, ever considered leaving? If I could afford to leave, I wouldn't be there.
She says neighbors fall asleep to gunfire. Her car still damaged from an overnight shootout.
This is a bullet hole.
It was one of the few times Aurora police responded.
They will call me and say, I'm sorry, but we're not coming. We're not coming until it's a bad enough crime.
This week, her pleas for help were finally answered, not by the city, but by Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky.
I think that politics is being played here with people's lives.
While APD and the city denied gang activity, Jurinsky moved Cindy out of that apartment herself. For weeks, officers have told her their hands were tied.
What I am told is that police leadership put it out that no less than like 3 or 4 officers could respond to one of these complexes.
Wednesday, Aurora police said they're aware that components of TDA are operating in Aurora. In a statement, APD says it would be improper at this time for the city and APD to make any conclusory statements about specific incidents or provide details about law enforcement strategy and operations. Based on our initial investigative work, we believe reports of TDA influence in Aurora are isolated.
I now have other property owners, other apartment complexes calling and telling me the same kinds of things.
Food is the biggest commodity over there.
Cindy says she survived the ordeal by staying quiet, giving them food and bed bug spray every night, praying she'd hear sirens.
They left us there to die.
In her new home, far away, the peace she feels is fleeting because for so many others, she says there is no escape, no solution, and no sign that help will ever come.
My family lives in Aurora. My daughters live there. I talked to them moving to Aurora. if someone doesn't do something now, their apartments are next.
Now, Cindy says there needs to be more action and more help for people in her situation. Like she told me earlier, there's no program that says, hey, you've been run out by a gang. Let's step in and help you with the deposit. She's lucky to get the help that she did, Karen.
That's terrible. Just so terrible. Tori, what's next? What are the next steps?
Well, the city and the Aurora Police Department established a special task force to address concerns about any Venezuelan gang activity.
All right, more to come on this.
Okay, let's go to second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 19. You know? I mean, okay. Now, one guy with a gun is one thing, but when you got 10 dudes coming up there, one has a long rifle, everybody else has handguns, and a couple people on the phone, who are they talking to? You guys have something more better to do than this home invasion that you're doing? Or they're talking to somebody that's outside, you know, are the cops coming? You know, what does it look like on the streets? You know what I mean? They have sophisticated ways of criminality over there in Venezuela. For instance, for everybody that used to, you know, not used to, but, you know, you're in a big city or whatever, you're on your phone, you just, you know, nobody's paying attention to me. What they do is they'll ride up on scooters, right? And there'll be one guy on the back of the scooter, comes up with the gun, says, give me your phone. Now your phone's already on because you're just sitting there talking to somebody. Now, what the guy on the back of the scooter does, they hop on the scooter again. He starts tapping your phone so it doesn't turn off. So you can't just put in the code. So they'll keep it on, go to a safe spot, destroy your Cash App, destroy whatever bank account you got, transfer money to their accounts, and then they wipe the phone clean, and then they send it to Venezuela for, you know, the friends back home and get money for it then, and they just keep on doing it. You know what I mean? That's what armed robbery looks like. They don't even care what's in your wallet. They know people don't carry money, and by the time you steal your credit card, you're going to turn it off. You know what I mean? But if your phone is on, they can take everything out of your phone, and now they have your phone and the other information in there. All right. Con. Okay, it says Esau is going down fast. All of this week, 2 white men I know and one who is a family member of someone I know all have collapsed over the weekend, either due to a heart attack or something else. They're in the hospital holding on to life, all at the age 35 and under. Wow. They're feeling the wrath and have no idea it's only going to get worse. All praise to the Most High. Bashima Mashiach Yahushai. Kian. Yeah, Esau's not doing too good at all. And they're really upset about this. This is trust and believe. They're like, it could be next. It's Kamala and open borders. I mean, they are upset because they're assuming that, you know, it's going to happen to them. I'm assuming that they're right. You know what I'm saying? But let's bring that out. We're gonna watch another video. It's debunked now. Okay, so it's debunked, but we're gonna talk about the implications of the internet. You know what I mean? Once something's out there, nobody really follows up on the report whether it's true or not. Okay, we'll talk about that. But let's bring that out. Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 19.
John, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 19. Everybody has it. Please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
Khan. Okay, so which he say? Food is important. You give them some food and they'll, you know what I mean, they'll leave you alone. You know, and bed bug spray. So you see where they, you know what I mean, they live in foul over there, you know what I'm saying? You know, you give them some bed bug spray and some food, they'll leave you alone. But a lot of people, what they're saying is they're going up there saying, we're now collecting the rent. So whatever your rent is, say your rent's $1,000, you give it to us and you can stay here. But what it comes down to is they're paying the rent to them, and then the landlord's like, yo, where's the rent? They're like, I paid it to the Venezuelan gang that have guns. And of course, what? You're going to be evicted soon. So they're taking over that apartment building like Nino and the Carter. You know what I mean? That wasn't just a movie. You see now that was Jake wilding out during the crack era. And here we are, so-called 2024, and it's 10 tribes wilding out. You know what I mean? But let's get to Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 14. There was a rumor going around that the Hell's Angels are now involved, that they're getting on their bikes, and they're like, these guys are really like decent characters. You know what I'm saying? They came out and said, nah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. We're busy selling meth and guns. We ain't got time to be, being no superhero wearing a cape, going to Colorado and fighting some Venezuelan gang. Minus that last part. They didn't say they're selling meth and guns. I put that part in. But, they're not doing this. The cops certainly aren't, though. That's another thing. The cops are like the lady was saying, we're not even going to come over there unless it's something important, unless there's, I guess, a body on the ground. So if you got 10 people busting in the house with a home invasion, sticking guns in everybody's face, nah, that's all right. We'll let it play out, So obviously, like you said, if I can move out, I would. So that's probably more than likely that area is not the most wealthiest place in Colorado. You know what I mean? Because if it was, it would be garnish a lot more attention. As you can see, as you'll see later, a stabbing happened in Philadelphia that got all the press, but then, of course, more people got stabbed that day, but they don't have they're like a little blip on the screen. So depending on how much money you have, it's a caste system here in America. If you're financially stable, then the cops will care about you. If you're not, good luck. You're on your own. All right. But here's the a story talking about the Hells Angels. And it went around the internet so much that people are just assuming that it's true. It's not true. But other gangs, other militias or whatever, I think are really going to see how much people appreciated the Hells Angels, even though they're not going to do anything. But that appreciation, you can, you know, uh, uh, put yourself on a, your group on a pedestal that you helped out your so-called Americans in their time of need. So that might propel other groups to actually do something about this. You know what I mean? Because apparently it's not just happening in Colorado, it's happening all over. Okay, let's bring that out. Isaiah 13 and verse 14.
Khan, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 14. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 14. And it shall be as that chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land.
Khan. So he shall be as a chased roe. Esau the chased roe, just chasing him down. As you see in a couple videos, Esau is destroying Esau. The Venezuelans are destroying Esau. It's just Esau's own body's destroying Esau. So they're having a rough time. Okay, let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15. And we're gonna play this next video, but we'll hold that. 2nd Ezra 15 and 15.
Willie D. Live.
What's up, family?
Slakia, Fair Use Act. Fair Use Act. This video is protected by the Fair Use Act as a teaching moment. So therefore is protected by the Fair Use Act.
Social media users are claiming that members of the International Outlaw Motorcycle Club, the Hells Angels, are headed to Aurora, Colorado to confront Venezuelan gangs. Yeah, fam. They said they're going to restore order. Question: Why isn't the police doing it? I mean, they're the ones who get paid to do it, right? Why aren't they doing it? Why isn't the federal government sending in the military? Because they could restore order very swiftly. I mean, those gangs are bad, but they ain't military bad. Yeah, man, it'll be over just like that. These activities comes as officials said they are investigating gang activity in the municipality after a surveillance video showing armed men taking over an apartment complex surfaced. The police department said the edge at the Lowry apartment complex, which was seen in the clip, has been troubled by the Venezuelan gang Trende Aragua. Question: why isn't the police handling their business? Because, you know, they like to claim the streets. They say the block is hot because of us, not you. We run it. So why aren't they running it? Heard people saying, hey, well, you know, we'll send in the military. Okay, send in the military. Look, they got enough police in Colorado to get the job done. Why aren't they getting the job done? I personally don't see how it's gotten so bad where they need the Hells Angels to come in and do the job of the police. The police is the biggest gang in all of America. They got backup. They don't need the Hells Angels. So any showing of the Hells Angels rolling up on Aurora, Colorado is just for show. That's all for show. They ain't gonna do nothing. The police got this covered. And if they don't have it covered, it's because they don't want to have it covered. That's right, I said it. I don't trust them, fam. You just never know what's be going on with these people. They'll allow certain things to happen. They'll allow certain activities to happen until they get so bad. Whereas the people that are on the inside, who are living in that community, and the people who are on the outside looking at it are saying they need to do something. They just need to do something. I don't care what they do something. And this allows them to have a pass to do whatever they want to do to solve the situation. Most people are not critical thinkers. So they just think on the surface. They just think whatever the mainstream media say it is, that's what it is. And they just accept it. Fam. No. There is no way gangs should be rolling up in a U.S. city like that and go unchecked. They did say that there are other gang members that live in that apartment complex. The police say that, hey, man, people are blowing this out of proportion. There has been gang activity in that particular apartment complex. We're not saying that the guys rolling up on those people in those apartments was not real, but as far as some type of takeover, that ain't what it is. I tend to believe that if it's anything other than that, the police are in on it. Because they got the resources to stop it if they want to. Oh yeah, they got the resources. If the local police can't handle it, they bring in the rest of the boys. And Colorado got a whole bunch of police officers who can get down like that. Or they can pull up and they can make that gang pull out. They can destroy them just like, they can destroy them overnight if they want to. They can identify every one of those dudes that was involved if they want to. The Aurora Police Department has 748 cops currently employed. The state of Colorado has over 10,000 cops. The U.S. has over 700,000 cops. If they wanted to get rid of any street gang in America, they could do it like that. The Hells Angels they're considered an outlaw street gang. Sometimes they call it a club. But they're allowed to roam. They're allowed to continue to exist and campaign and organize and move around. Why do you think that is? Just in case. Just in case. You have to read between the lines on that one. There ain't no crisis in Aurora, Colorado that involves a gang that can't be eliminated. Let's just say for some reason, all of those cops in America couldn't stop that Venezuelan gang. America's military is so sophisticated, they can push a button and send a drone to wherever they are and blow up the spot. They ain't got to sacrifice one law enforcement official's life. They can just send a drone over there and wipe them out like that. They can put a target on a person, a specific person. That drone will go straight to that person and bust them in the head. So let's not get fooled by the okie doke fam. This is propaganda. I don't know what they got up their sleeve. I don't know what this is about, but it ain't what you think it is. No more talk.
All right. Yes. No more talk. Yeah. So when she calls the police and says, we can't make it, you know, we said he can't go in there if there's unless there's 3 or 4 cops. So it really would have been under the radar. And I talked to people that watch MSNBC pretty much 24 hours a day. They're not talking about this. And it goes against their agenda of, just allowing people to come in, as long as you got a heartbeat, come on into the United States, and order out of chaos. Once it's all crazy and, you bring people in that aren't able to survive. You know what I mean? When I say that, not mean it won't work or anything like that, but, in America, money talks. So for someone to come in and don't have any resources, or they say they're giving them food stamp cards and vouchers to live in housing and things of that nature, but probably not for everybody, and I'm going to assume, because now you're talking about order out of chaos. Now it's just, fires everywhere, like not literal fires, but like fires you got to put out, gang activity over here, gang activity in this city. And now it's like, hey, I'm your candidate. I'm the one that can help you with this. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they're the ones that allow it to happen. All right. Let's bring that out though. 2 Ezra 15 verse 15.
Con, this is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 15. When everybody has it, please say Con.
Con.
Con, verse 15. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands.
Con. So we're talking about the race wars, right? We're talking about how the race war is going to pop off, and this is something that can pretty much spiral out of control, because now they said in Chicago, 32 migrants were trespassing with weapons at this location or whatever, right? And a guy got on there, Jake got on there like, yo, this is the building that they're talking about. There's no migrants here. It's us. We're outside. And then, Chicago, yo, I'm following them. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much sure that gang over there got access to that building. And I don't know if the migrants want to go in there. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake already has things kind of sewed up in that direction. But that would be propagandized. Like now, all you have to do is say Venezuelan migrants, and they're like the worst people on the planet at this point, right? In America, so this is the propaganda push. But that is getting Esau very scared. You know what I'm saying? Esau is worried that, with us so-called black people being destroyed, it's like, we can do whatever we want to them. These Venezuelans come in here like, nah, we're taken down. It's like they little scar faces running around ready to, get a piece of the American pie, so to speak. And that might be something that is going to be pushed through the media more and more. So you're going to see that propaganda, spread throughout the four corners, and they could easily pop off into race wars. Okay. Now let's talk about Now let's talk about a wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers that just signed his deal, first round pick. Life is doing good, and then life happens. Okay, let's go to Job chapter 20 and verse 15. White people said they need our help. Huh. Yeah, they're gonna wait on that. Yeah, so they're gonna go for easy targets. I don't think they they come to Philly or what I mean, certain parts of New York. They're not gonna be able to really thrive as much as they think they are. So if they're smart, they'll take down on Esau. You know what I mean? Be like a chase to row. And I think that's what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? And they know, for the most part, the sanctions put on their country is the reason why they're here now. They know for the most part that, I'm assuming that they know that Donald Trump sent out a damn hit squad to take out Maduro when he was in office. You know what I mean? He got caught. So they know America's, and Chavez would say, I believe Chavez, right? That the UN, when George Bush came to speak, he said, smells like sulfur up here. You know what I mean? The devil just got finished speaking. So Venezuela, for the most part, knows who their enemy is. So they're coming over here and destroying Esau. Hey, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? I ain't got no cape. You know what I mean? My name ain't Batman. Good luck, Esau. All right, let's bring that out. Job chapter 20 and verse 15.
Khan, this is the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 15. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Khan.
Khan, verse 15. He has swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly.
Khan, look how it goes from the greatest time of your life to the exact opposite.
You're looking at San Francisco, where 49ers rookie wide receiver and first-round draft pick Ricky Pearsall was shot this afternoon during a robbery attempt. The San Francisco Police Department confirming that Pearsall was shot today at Union Square. A male suspect tried to rob Pearsall, leading to a fight. Both Pearsall and the suspect were injured. Police arrested that suspect at the scene. Pearsall, good news, listed in stable condition. Pearsall, drafted in the first round of this year out of Arizona State, he had been expected to make his regular season debut on September 9th. Pearsall's teammate Deebo Samuel tweeting out this message of support, writing, "He's good, thank God." That investigation still ongoing.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
All right, Ricky Pearsall, first round pick money, and the bullets that come along with it. All right. Pretty sure that's Esau. Could be wrong, but until further notice, that's Esau. Unless anybody knows anything different. Let's continue. All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 14 and verse 25. And it's not Esau, I do apologize. But at the same time, God is working on everybody. That judgment is going around, whether you Esau, Moab, Jake, whatever. All right. All we gotta do is do better. All right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 14 and verse 25. We're going to talk about these chariots that are just falling from the sky. We talked about this a little bit on the Shabbat. It just happened, as we're on the class. But let's talk about it some more, because there's more planes and helicopters and things that are just falling out of the sky. You can't make this up. You can't not see it, because it's happening so often that people are making videos about it. And we're going to get to one of those videos regarding that. But let's bring that out. Exodus 14 and verse 25. You there, right? They might have kicked him off. Yep. Esau. Always being the devil. Okay. Exodus 14, verse 25. And took off their chariot wheels, that they drove them heavily, so that the Egyptians say, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. So let's look at what's going on in the sky. And Utai will be most likely be back by the time we end this video.
So lucky, I'm back. I got kicked out.
You got kicked out again. Con. It's all good. I read Exodus. So
14 and 25.
Con. So let's get Proverbs 21 and 10 on deck, Bubba Gashar. And we're gonna watch the little part of this video, and we'll be back.
Guys, hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Breaking news coming out of Troutdale, Oregon, where there's been yet another aviation incident involving an airplane falling from the sky. Small plane crashes into a row of townhomes in Fairview. I don't know if this plane was departing the Troutdale airport or coming in for a landing. Article over here at kgw.com shows a row of townhomes on fire. And over here at Google Earth, here's the airport where the plane was either coming in for a landing or just departing. And here's the row of townhomes that you just saw right here that the fire department was trying to get a handle on. The plane came down in this area. Unfortunately, there were 2 people on board the airplane. And right now, according to the article, there's 1 person that's not accounted for in one of those townhomes. But the article goes on to say a small plane crashed into a residential area near the Troutdale Airport Saturday morning, striking a power pole and then hitting a row of townhomes, setting multiple units ablaze. And if you look at the power outage event in Oregon, it is consistent with the incident that just occurred a few hours ago. You can see 15,175 customers without power near the Portland area. And if you look on Google Earth, this location is just east of Portland, and the widespread power outages are just north of Portland, consistent with where the airplane just came down out of the sky. I also saw today where there were 2 more helicopter incidents in the last 48 hours. This makes a 3rd incident in the last 48 hours. And this is something that we've been following the last couple of months. It seems like there's been an uptick in aviation incidents involving small aircraft and helicopters. So once again, a small plane crashes into a row of townhomes just outside of Portland in Troutdale, Oregon. Also in this video, I've got video footage to share with you guys of a helicopter that had a close call involving some sort of a UAP in the daytime sky. Video footage out of Jacksonville, Florida, sent in by Mike V. But first over here.
Okay, so he gets into other things, but one thing that you cannot hide is that planes are falling out the sky in Brazil, Oregon, helicopters crashing, so forth and so on. And then he brings out later on the video, if you want to watch it later, that it was a chariot that aircraft that was in the sky. Another video he just put out yesterday, a chariot was going by a plane and it blacked out the plane. The plane had all its lights on and everything, and the plane completely blacked out. So this happened in Iran back in like 79, 80, around that time. They sent fighter jets to shoot down a chariot, and the chariot knocked all the electrical, pretty much the service out of the fighter jet, and the fighter jet just started dropping out of the sky. So the further it got from the chariot, it gathered more strength and was able to start flying away. But some of these planes and helicopters aren't getting that second chance to revive their engines and all that. They're just falling out of the sky. And the Most High did that to Pharaoh and the Egyptians and their chariots, like their vehicles that they were using in the time. And now the Most High is doing it to the chariots that are in the sky from the United States and around the world. It's all prophecy. All right. So now let's continue on. With the next story, Esau wilding out on his neighbors. Esau is a violent person, and this violent man needs to unleash his violence. He used to live around us. We used to live in his house. He'd wake up violent. He'd go out and kill one of our ancestors, kill us, and now he feels his bloodlust. But now, once we were free and, we're able to roam around, they're like, I don't want to live in this neighborhood. I'm going to live amongst my people. But he still has that bloodlust. So what does he do? He starts killing people around him. All right. Let's bring that out. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 10.
Khan, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 10. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
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 Khan, verse 10. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes.
Khan, he's just trying to get evil. You know what I mean? Whether his neighbor, whoever, he's going to do the most terrible thing to the people next to him. And that's what Esau's doing. He moved out away from us, and now he's destroying his neighbors. Okay. Let's get Proverbs 11 verse 12, and we're going to watch this video.
This morning, a missing elderly couple from Southern California presumed dead, according to police who suspect their neighbor of homicide. 79-year-old Dan Menard and his wife, 73-year-old Stephanie, vanishing a week ago, last seen with their dog Cuddles at their Redlands, California home located in a nudist ranch. Police finding their car abandoned nearby, the couple's cell phones and Stephanie's purse inside their home. Days later, police involved in a standoff with the couple's neighbor, SWAT team seen approaching Sparks' property, then tearing through his home, eventually going in with guns drawn, forcing him to surrender.
We did locate him under the home.
Police arresting 62-year-old Michael Sparks in connection to the couple's disappearance, charging him with murder. On Friday, cadaver dogs detecting at least one body underneath his property. Hours later, officials searching and finding a bunker underneath the home.
Great couple, good Christians, good people, and so when they disappeared, it was just a very big blow to the entire community.
The exact motive of Sparks and what led to the couple's death remains unclear.
It is clear. It's violent and evil. We're all aware of that. Sparks knows that. The police, the SWAT team know that. See, they came full force, killed some good Christian people, that neighbor says. You know what I mean? And living in a nudist colony, the nudist people supposed to be like hippies and peace, man, and I don't want any trouble. Make love, not war. These damn nudists are killing each other now. But obviously, if they're neighbors and they live on a nudist colony, then so did the murderer. These are murderous nudists. walking around the streets of California, Southern California. Okay, let's bring that out though. Proverbs 11, verse 12.
Khan, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 12. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Con.
Khan.
Khan, verse 12. He that is void of wisdom despiseth his neighbor, but a man of understanding holdeth his peace.
Khan, why would you hate your neighbor? That guy, he didn't do anything to you, right? You're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself. You know what I'm saying? But Esau hates everybody, and the Most High pretty much turned a switch where he's killing each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pray against that. But Esau is the void of wisdom. Okay. They're crashing out right now. Crash out dummies, if you will. All right. So let's get what happened today in Georgia. Apparently, you know what I mean? Sent by HOI News correspondent Yash. There was a violent altercation in schools. Apparently, it's the second violent altercation. When I mean altercation, school turned into a shooting range. Okay. What occurred? It's preliminary. We just got the basics. A 14-year-old named Colt Gray. Colt, I'm assuming, is an Edomite name. I could be wrong, but 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Decided to shoot up his school. He said he's the quiet kid in the back of the class. Nobody said anything. He's 14 years old. I'm sure they just came back into school. It's early September, so he's the quiet kid for the past week. You know, if he's 14 years old, I'm assuming he's a freshman. Could be wrong, but I believe that's the case. And well, let's see what Colt did. Colt had him running. You know what I mean? Let's bring out Isaiah 14 and verse 22 before we go deeper into Colt Gray's wild ride. All right, before we go any further, the Most High has a problem with Babylon. So, you know what I mean? Living in Babylon, not following the law, statutes, commandments that God gave in the scriptures to the Israelites, you know, you're just going completely off, you're going to have a bad time. All right, let's bring that out. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 22.
Khan, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 22. When everybody has it, please say Khan.
Con.
Khan.
Khan, verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
I will also make it a possession for the bitter and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the bosom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts.
So I'm going to read that in the GNT, Isaiah 14 and verse 22. The Lord Almighty says, I will attack Babylon and bring it to ruin. I will leave nothing, no children, no survivors at all. I, the Lord, have spoken. Verse 23, I will turn Babylon into a marsh, and the owls will live there. I will sweep Babylon with a broom that I will sweep everything away. I, the Lord Almighty, have spoken. Okay. So with that, let's watch this video. Let's get Job 18 and verse 16. Job 18, verse 16 on deck.
Richard Elliott has been gathering information on this. And Richard, you just got some new information.
Yeah, we found out that those 3 department heads, GBI, DPS,
and Jima. They are all physically on the scene now. This is Colonel Bill Hitchens. Chris, he's with the Georgia State Patrol. Chris Stallings, who's the Jima director, and GBI director Chris Hosey. They are all now on the scene helping to coordinate the efforts there at Appalachian High School. Also got a text from the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. They are very concerned about moving forward from this tragedy, some of the emotional trauma and emotional distress that people have. They wanted to remind people in that community that if they are experiencing this emotional trauma, emotional stress, there is a hotline available for them. Simply dial 988, and they have trained professionals on staff, on the phone, who can help talk out or direct them to where they may or may not need to go. So the state of Georgia concentrating on what is happening now, but also trying to concentrate on the days and weeks ahead. Brad?
Richard, if you can go back over that again, mention that hotline again and what it is exactly, because this is a traumatic situation for a lot of people to have to go through. One more time, please.
Yeah, it's emotionally scarring. Even if your child or your loved one was not involved in what happened, they are still somewhat involved. It happened to their school. It happened to their community. There is emotional trauma. There's emotional scarring. So the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities has a hotline already set up to handle any emergencies like this. You simply dial 988. That's all, 988, and they have trained professionals on the other end. They can help you deal with it. They can help direct you to where you need to go and help you deal with all that's happening.
And Richard, I know this is very early information, but do we have a sense of where they might set up sort of a temporary headquarters or command center to deal with all the coordinating that needs to happen? Is it at the school? Is it at a sheriff's department? Do we know at this point?
I don't know at this point. I know a lot of times they like to let the local law enforcement agencies, usually the county sheriff's office, handle things like that because they know the lay of the land. They know the best location. They generally like to have a command post on scene, not at the, let's say, the Barrow County Sheriff's Office, which may be some miles away. So my guess is that it'll be some type of command post on scene, and they'll be able to do the coordinating from there.
Channel 2's Richard Elliott with the latest on the state response, which is very substantial so far. In just 2 hours, they have sent the heads of 3 major agencies, GBI, DPS, and GMA, to that scene to help with the coordination that needs to happen now as local police also work on the investigation.
Okay, so let's bring that out. Job chapter 18 and verse 16.
Con, this is the book of Job, chapter 18 and verse 16. When everybody has it, please say Con.
On.
Con.
Con, verse 16. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off.
Con. Go ahead.
His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street.
Con. So it's this is a precept also tying with Isaiah 14 and 22. Go ahead.
He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world.
Chased out the world, like gone. You know what I'm saying? Like out of here completely. All right, go ahead.
He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwelling.
So the Most High has controversy with these folks. So he's, cutting off them, son, nephew. So, send them to school, it's not a guarantee that they're going to come back. You know what I mean? And this is what the Most High is doing. And like he said, the traumatic experience of, some people got shot, killed, whatever, but some people that didn't, they're going to be messed up for a while. You know what I'm saying? So the mental anguish of how come I didn't get killed, or what if this or what if that, is going to be playing around a lot of these children's head. You know what I'm saying? So Most High is giving them a dose of the trauma that our children face on a daily basis as well, living in gun-toting, gun-busting areas. You know, not saying everybody that goes to that school is an Edomite. I'm sure I saw a few Jakes there. I don't know if the Edomite, I'm assuming it's Edomite. Okay, so I could be wrong, right? But Colt Gray sounds Edomitish. Like I said, I could be wrong. But you know, was he just attacking other Edomite students, other Edomite teachers, or was this a racial thing? You know what I mean? And starting at age 14, okay? Wouldn't it be surprising, but you know, like I said, this kind of just happened, so I don't have a lot of information on it now. Just speculation, but I'm not going to speculate too much because could be wrong. But let's move on because here we are. We're in Babylon. Most High is judging this place. Okay, so let's now go to Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 18. After camp, you know, pretty much Philadelphia turned into a daggone sword fight. Pause. You know what I mean? People are they have guns. You know, Jake has guns out here, but stabbing somebody is a lot more personal, and that's something that you don't see a whole bunch. I've been seeing it more lately. We don't see that a whole bunch, but seems like it's coming back. You know what I mean? That personal, up close. You know what I mean? One-on-one. You know, not shooting down the block and shooting innocent women and children and all that. People are walking up and stabbing people. All right. Let's get that. Isaiah 1 and verse 18.
When everybody has it, please say Khan.
On.
Khan.
Khan, verse 18. Come now, and let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool.
So when we go out to the highways and byways, you know, letting our brothers and sisters know, yo, you're sinning right there. So repent. You know what I'm saying? Go to the Most High and repent. So get that washed away, clean. Okay. And that's the plan. That's, you know what I mean? Let brothers and sisters know who they are and what they should be doing. Okay. Go ahead.
If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land.
So explain to them, listen, this is, you know, we're going into a whole nother area now. You know what I'm saying? At first we were the slaves and the captives and the oppressed and everything. Soon it's going to flip. You know what I mean? The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Jacob was on Esau's heel. Do you know what I'm saying? So we have a heavenly kingdom coming down from the sky. Yahweh Shai is going to be ruling it along with the 144. You know what I'm saying? He'll of course be at the top. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to experience some things that we never experienced before. And like, instead of surviving, we're going to be thriving. We're going to be living. Okay. So if you follow these laws, statutes, commandments, you can be a part of that. You all right? Everybody listens though. Go ahead. Give me verse 20.
Khan, verse 20. If ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it.
So you have options. You know what I'm saying? It's repent or die. You know, change your life or your life's going to get taken away from you. Okay. And not long after camp, this happened.
4 people were hurt in 3 different stabbings across Philadelphia today, including a park ranger attacked in Rittenhouse Square. Police say it happened in broad daylight today. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on NBC 10 News at 11. I'm Johnny Archer. Police say that park ranger is in stable condition tonight, and we'll get to those other 2 incidents in just a bit, but we begin with that stabbing in Rittenhouse Square. NBC 10's Leah Uko is live there with more details.
So you know, so we're on the same page. Rittenhouse Square is like I guess the the wealthy part of town, the wealthy part of Philadelphia. So you're going to see how this gets pretty much, this is a 4-minute clip. Rittenhouse is going to get like 3 minutes and some change, compared to the other places like Kensington and I believe that's West Philly. Let's keep going.
About that park ranger and what happened tonight. Leah?
And Johnny, this incident happened in this general area in the center of Rittenhouse Square. This is an area where, as many people in the city know, where a lot of people gather. They sit on the benches. They go here in the water fountain over here. So we're told by witnesses that when this incident happened, the park ranger told the suspect to get out, to leave the area because he was acting belligerently. But then we're told that that suspect came back here to the pavilion, which is in the dead center of the park. He came back here to confront the ranger again, this time with a weapon in his hands.
My understanding was that it was scissors.
Tom McGrath was walking his dog through Rittenhouse Square when he saw a park ranger was hurt.
His head was in the pavilion, but his body was out, and there was somebody who I believe was a nurse who was compressing around his eye, his right eye.
Video posted online shows Philadelphia police taking off parts of the park. They say the ranger, a man in his 40s, got into a verbal altercation with a man who then stabbed him in his head and near his right eye.
People were concerned because this gentleman is usually there. So we all know him to say hello to him in the morning and stuff like that.
We all know Mike. He gives our dogs treats every day, multiple times a day. We come through here.
Residents say the ranger's name is Mike. He's from Puerto Rico and started this job at the beginning of the summer.
He's a very kind person. And I think he's actually really good at his job in terms of connecting with the people who come to the park every day and also making sure that it's a safe space, like in the capacity that he can.
Rachel here says she heard witnesses helped pin down the suspect who police arrested. They also confiscated his weapon.
There's another ranger in there who's a young woman and she's a college student. I can't imagine if this had happened on her watch.
Marshall James Kavanaugh, a poet who sets up shop near where the incident took place, says hearing news about what happened left him with mixed feelings about frequenting the park.
Anything can happen anywhere, and living in a city, it's just more people, so more confrontations can happen, I guess. I don't know. You don't expect things like that to happen. So it's always like, yeah, pretty shocking.
And a closer look here at the pavilion. This is where the Rangers start their shift. It's where they spend a lot of their time here in this closed off area because a lot of the information about the park is here. This is where they tell visitors coming where they can go when people have a lot of questions. And the people we spoke with say what makes them really sad about what happened is that their job is not really to enforce the law. They're just here to help the community know where to go, know how to enjoy this area, which is usually relatively safe. I do want to update everybody watching at home tonight that the ranger, Mike, he is in stable condition, recovering tonight. Johnny, I'll send it back to you. We're live from Rittenhouse Square. Leah Uko, NBC 10 News.
Wishing them a full recovery. All right, Leah, thank you. And Philadelphia police are also investigating a stabbing on Kensington Avenue and North Front Street. We're told a 27-year-old man was stabbed in his forearm inside that deli right there. A 63-year-old man was also cut in his head. Both victims were taken to the hospital and are listed in stable condition. Police have not made any arrests in this case. And a 41-year-old woman walking into the hospital after she was stabbed. Police say it happened just before 5 a.m. in West Philadelphia. They say she was stabbed twice in the back and was driven to Temple University Hospital. Investigators say it happened on South Dewey Street, but they are working to find out exactly where that stabbing happened. No arrests have been made in that case either.
And in fact, I talked to a lot of other people.
Okay, so yeah, by the way, it's more people got stabbed, but they don't live in the wealthy part of town, so we're not even gonna, we'll give them a blip on the screen. But yeah, so that sword was swinging. Okay, refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. So we don't want to refuse. We don't want to rebel. Okay. Now, a feel-good story, if you will. Let's get Psalm 109. This is the last story, by the way. Psalm 109, verse 2 and 3. Governor Hogle, something to that effect. She took over after Cuomo was found to be a pervert and, everything else he was doing wrong. They got him out of here, and she was the interim governor of New York. And come to find out, she's terrible, right? Big surprise there. But one thing she said 3 months ago kind of stood out. She's in the news now, but something she said 3 months ago talking about Negroes don't even know what the word computer means. What? Can you imagine that? You know what I mean? There are children out there like 2, 3 years old that could tell you how to put together an iPad and can dismantle your iPhone and give you updates and all that because they're born in the technology. But in her eyes, because we are Negroes, we don't know anything. And she's serious. And we're gonna watch her say that. And she's talking to a so-called black man, right? And he's agreeing with her at first because she's like, yeah, New York gets everything first. He's like, yeah, I hear that. He's like, yeah, black people don't even know what a computer is. And he's like, man, if I could choke you right now, I would. You look at his face, you know what I'm saying? You're just sitting there looking there like, I'm just gonna, sit here with this look on my face, but if, I would definitely drop kick you if I had the opportunity. All right, so let's bring that out. Psalm chapter 109 and verse 2.
Khan, this is the book of Psalm, chapter 109 and verse 2 and 3.
Hmm.
If everybody has it, please say Khan.
Con.
Khan.
Khan, verse 2. For the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are open against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue.
Khan. So, does she have any evidence on this that there's black children have no idea what the word computer means? No. But that's why they say we have to rule over them. We have to tell them what to do. They don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know how to use a fork. Some of these people, you know what I'm saying? So they're looking at us like, really, we're sitting somewhere in the jungle with a grass skirt on or something like that. You know what I mean? Like we're really far away from the mainstream, technologies, and we don't even know what a cell phone is at this point, right? Anyway, go ahead. Read verse 3.
Khan, verse 3. They compassed me about also with words of hatred and fought against me without a cause.
So let's watch. She's honestly, she's serious about this. She didn't apologize. No, I didn't see any apology. You know what I mean? But all you need in a 24-hour news cycle is just a day to go by and people forget about it. But I didn't forget about this, and this was 3 months ago. Let's what did Ice Cube say? Here's what they think about you.
And in fact, I talked to a lot of other people, said, I wish my governor had thought of that first. I said, no, this is New York. We like to be first, with all due respect to people from other states. It's sort of our attitude. We will be the best, we will be the first. And I want others to follow, because right now we have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenges. I've created this governance board, this advisory committee. Our CEO is Arvind Krishna, who is the CEO of IBM, very well established legacy industry. The co-chair is Tamika Barrett, who's the CEO of Girls Who Code. Why did I do that? Because I want all those young girls to know that there's a place for them in this emerging technology. So this is how we make it more equitable, make AI equitable for all in the state of New York. And I want other states to follow that. That's just the larger framework. Got it through the legislature.
So as you can see, she I guess she's like pulling her skin back or something like that, trying to make herself look young. It's Esau. Okay. So sure, once that skin comes back, it's just Terrible. Let's go to Obadiah, one chapter, and the 7th verse. Okay, because now her assistant has been stealing secrets, or it's fairly new story as well. And is a spy for China. Her name is Linda-san. Exactly. You know what I mean? Linda-san, not Daniel-san. I think she might have a son called Daniel-san, but her name is Linda-san. Okay. And I'm not sure if she has a son called Daniel-san, but we're just going to go with that. It's a possibility. She has a son called Daniel-san. All right. And yeah. So let's read that. Obadiah 1 verse 7, Baba Kashaw.
Khan, this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 7.
My man, Sluggy, no folly, no folly.
God, no folly.
Oh, praise. God, go ahead, King.
Khan, chapter verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
And we go to Psalm 83. They got a confederacy. They got a whole group of people that said, let's cut them off from being a nation. Let's all band together and get at these Israelites. You know what I'm saying? So now you're just picking on brothers like they don't even know how to use a computer. Well, your assistant does, and she was sending your secrets over there to China. All right. So there's a womb under thee. Okay, can you read verse 8?
Verse 8. Shall I not in that day, say of the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau?
So while you're laughing at us talking about the black children from the Bronx that don't even know what a computer is, your assistant is going through your emails, stealing everything that, they probably got all types of bugs over her house and, where she's at. And, what's that called? The Apple tracker in her car. And you know what I'm saying? She reads her emails before she even gets a chance. Linda-san was underneath in the cut, taking millions of dollars away from China, or not taking away from it, but getting millions of dollars from China, probably not even cashing that bum paycheck that Governor Holcomb gives her. She's probably like, yeah, you didn't pick up your paycheck last week. So, oh yeah, I do. I pick it up today. She don't need that paycheck. She's getting millions of dollars from China from stealing y'all information. Hilarious. And all it took is 3 months, and the Most High brought this out for the whole world to see. How embarrassing. But this is going to be our last video. I thought it was hilarious. Hopefully, I think you should too. Here we go. Let's watch this.
Former aide to 2 New York governors, including Kathy Hochul, is now charged as an agent for the Chinese government. The indictment alleges numerous crimes from money laundering to kickbacks and visa fraud. Let's get right to Good Day's Lizette Nunez. She is live outside the governor's Manhattan office on the east side with more. Lizette, good morning.
Good morning to Shawnee. Well, prosecutors allege that Linda-san used her position to help the Chinese government, at the same time also receiving millions of dollars worth of kickbacks. Now, Governor Hochul did confirm that Linda-san worked in her office for about 15 months, but did not say why she was fired. The governor said she was just not at liberty to share those details, but she said that information will be coming out soon during court proceedings. Linda-san, a former aide to Governor Kathy Hochul and former Governor Andrew Cuomo, has been charged with acting as an agent for the Chinese government. Sun is charged with failure to register as a foreign agent, visa fraud, alien smuggling and money laundering conspiracy. Her husband, Chris Hu, a businessman, was also charged with money laundering conspiracy. Both pleaded not guilty in Brooklyn federal court.
We think that these charges are disappointing, that they are the product of an overly aggressive investigation.
Prosecutors believe Sun acted as a Chinese agent to advance the communist agenda while she worked as deputy chief of staff to Governor Hochul. Investigators accuse Sun of blocking Taiwanese officials from having access to the governor's office. Her husband is accused of facilitating the transfer of millions of dollars of kickbacks and laundering the money through bank accounts opened under a relative's name. Prosecutors believe the money was used to purchase the couple's $4.1 million Manhasset home, a $2.1 million condo in Hawaii, and a 2024 Ferrari. According to the indictment, among the other benefits received included tickets to events and salted ducks, which prosecutors say went to Sun's parents from a Chinese consulate official's private chef. The couple's Manhasset home was raided by the FBI in July.
I'm furious and I'm outraged and absolutely shocked at how brazen her behavior was. It was a betrayal of trust, the trust of government, the trust of the people. And I'll tell you this, the second we discovered some levels of misconduct, we fired her. We alerted the authorities.
Sun is also accused of forging Governor Cuomo's signature. Investigators believe Sun also influenced the governor's office to publicly praise Chinese officials for sending ventilators to New York during the COVID-19 pandemic. The archive post found on X where Cuomo thanked the Chinese government. Sun and Hu did not address reporters.
A lot of the allegations in this indictment are frankly perplexing, overly inflammatory. As you heard in court today, we're looking forward to our day in court. The defendants are exercising their right to a speedy trial as soon as they can. We have a lot of confidence in Kristen and Linda.
Sun and her husband posted bail and they were shortly released. Now, Sun is not allowed to have any contact with the Chinese consulate. The two will be back in court on September 25th. That's Liz here from the East Side. Dan, back over to you.
Tracking it, Lizette. Thank you very much.
So Chris Hall, and Linda Sun. They spies. Yes. Spies for the Chinese Communist Party here in America, walking up and down Governor Holcomb's office, using her signature, $4.1 million house, $2.1 million condo, 2024 Ferrari, and she's the assistant to the governor. Nobody realized she's pulling up to work in a Ferrari and everybody else is in a Prius. Like, what? You just got a raise or something like that? She's like, don't worry about it. Linda Sun get money, okay? And Chris Hall was laundering money. So they're going to be in jail. But you know what? I say, why stop there? Governor Holcomb, the fact that, you know what I mean? Just like with Kamala Harris, she was throwing parents in jail because their children were truant. Well, if your assistant is a spy, then damn it, that should reflect on you too. Throw them all in jail. Okay. So that is the lesson. Hopefully it was edifying. It's just really putting in to grasp that this is it. This is the last days. Look what's going on. This place is over. It's done with. You know what I mean? Waiting on these nuclear missiles. And what we didn't even talk about tonight was that Russia, of course, changed its nuclear doctrine. We talked about that before, but they changed their nuclear doctrine. They're able to use first strikes. So right now, NATO is invading Russia right now, like today. They're in Russia. They're in Russian territory. You know how before it was Russia that invaded Ukraine? Ukraine, which is NATO, well, they're not officially NATO, but the people that are fighting for Ukraine are NATO fighters. Okay, it's American fighters. Everybody knows it. They're putting up the flags and everything, right? They're in Russia right now. They're invading a superpower, a nuclear superpower as we speak. So when it says I'm coming like a thief in the night, people don't even know this. And that it was changed that the first strike is that they don't have to wait to get hit and then strike back. They can initiate the violence. They can initiate a nuclear strike. that they now changed their doctrine. So that's where we're at right now. So repent daily, repent hourly, repent every 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Continue to repent, continue to cry out to the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to end this whole thing, end this captivity, destroy Esau, the 2/3, and other nations. Well, the 2/3, the other nations, and Esau. You know what I'm saying? And uplift the righteous of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, so we're going to end in prayer. So if you want to bow and face the east, prostrate, face the east, or however you want to pray, or just face the east, give you a couple minutes to do that. Well, seconds.
Hey, Salakia, okay.
Huh.
While they getting Sun Chung and Chung Lee, they gotta arrest Little Tay too as well, man. Y'all don't know Little Tay's the Moabite little girl rapper that's been plagiarizing and culture vulture and all of this stuff, talking about she gets money. So you arrest Sun Jung, Lady Shang Xing, Chung Lee, you get Lil Tay too as well.
Always with the money up to her ear.
Right.
Hey, and I'm getting money.
She said, Fing Shi, I get money. Me, I get money. Beautiful lesson, King.
God, the water king. All praises. God, this is the Lord's Prayer, ancient Paleo Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Quadash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malafwaka, Daba'a, Ratazayaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Natananawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Wasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalafnawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'a, Dabinawa, Banasai 1, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwaf, Wa'ala, Watapala Lai Wulamyam, Amen. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And all praises, Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. We're gonna go over the announcements. Stay on for the Zoom, but everybody that's on the live stream, hopefully it was edifying. It's the last days. Repent, keep the commandments, stay focused. We almost out of here. All right.